Hey guys, my name's Caleb, and in this video, we're going to be talking about my investment strategy and why I choose to invest in Ethereum and Chainlink. I've been getting that question a lot on this channel, and I'm going to try to break it down and give you guys a visual representation of my mindset and strategy this bull run. Before we get into that, let's look at this. Ethereum is breaking all-time highs of 25.36 as of recording this video, and Chainlink is off to the races as well. It just crossed $44 a few minutes ago. And DeFi, if we look at the top performers in the last 24 hours, DeFi, besides the crazy Dogecoin run, DeFi is making insane moves as well. So I'm going to be breaking this down. I've talked about on the channel a lot about how my top holdings are as follows. Ethereum as my main holding, Chainlink as my second largest portion of my portfolio, and then I have some DeFi that represents probably about 10% or less of my portfolio, and then some other ones that I've talked about on this channel as well. Now, to give you kind of a rundown of my thought process is, I'm going to kind of go back to last bull run. Every 4 years, we have a bull run where cryptocurrency gets a ton of new attention, a ton of new investors, and therefore we have an insane spike of the price of our top tokens, right? Now, that doesn't mean that these tokens aren't worth anything just because they go through these crazy ups and downs. It's just a lot of attention all happening all at once. Then everybody gets over it, moves on to the next thing, and then at the next Bitcoin halving, it all restarts over again. Now, last bull run was kind of all centered around Bitcoin. That was all in the news everywhere. And all this, although this market cycle is very much so about Bitcoin as well, Ethereum and smart contracts, NFTs, DeFi are all taking over. And I'm going to give you a visual representation of why exactly that is. And now to understand that, if you guys already understand smart contracts, oracles, and DeFi and all that, this is just going to kind of help you visualize it all, okay? So first of all, we have smart contracts, which are built on Ethereum. Now, this is basically a way of exchanging any type of information and triggering events one after another. That's the base, okay? Then we have oracles, which is Chainlink, okay, that provides real world data to allow new types of mechanics inside that smart contracts that are previously never been available before. And then we have DApps, or Decentralized Autonomous Organizations, like Aave or DeFi, that use the mechanics of smart contracts and oracles to bring new types of things that we can do and interact with each other through cryptocurrency. Now, I'm going to give you a visual representation of all of this right now, and it may be a little bit surprising to you, but this is it. This is the visual representation I want to give you. So if you've ever heard of a Rube Goldberg machine, a Rube Goldberg machine is basically a series of physical events that trigger one after another to create one large machine that, like I said, triggers one mechanical thing after the next. So obviously in this one, we've all seen Rube Goldberg machines and cool YouTube videos. We have an alarm clock setting off a ball that rolls into this wheel, then into the mug, down into the bucket, which weighs down the bucket, which cuts the scissors into releasing the boot to smash the paper clip to staple the paper, okay? So this is all one large machine, okay? And this is what basically a smart contract looks like, okay? You can think of the smart contracts as, anything you want. You can build and tamper with, which is what these decentralized organizations do. Ethereum is the base protocol, okay? So that's what's used to transact between users, okay? And in order for that to happen, it could be any series of things, okay? So, for example, I'm gonna say and give you like a real world example of this, okay? Let's say I wanted to build a smart contract visually like this that was going to trigger off me betting on the outcome of the Green Bay Packers football game, okay? Or LeBron James Lakers game. Now, I could be, the Series A, step one, depositing money into the smart contract, to where the middle mechanic would be the outcome of the game, right? And the outcome of the game would trigger whether it goes into, one bucket or the next bucket, which would be my wallet or into whoever I was betting against wallet or pool of wallets. Okay. Now that's a very simplified version of that, but that's kind of how you can think about that. Now this can get very, very complicated, and you can add all sorts of mechanics to it. And I'm going to kind of give you a representation of what that is. Now, in the physical world, all of these things inside of this Rube Goldberg machine rely on information that is all physical. Okay, so and time based. Now this one represents time. So once the time of whatever happens, 6 o'clock triggers, then the ball rolls. Okay, this one is based on gravity, right? The rules of gravity apply, and spinning this one topples over this, and gravity again pulls this one, and gravity again, and G here, triggers the scissors. Now that can be replaced with something else, like a lighter or something could burn this rope off. Now, the reason I'm saying this all is because that's kind of how it is in smart contracts as well. It is all based on the rules of data. Okay, so the smart contract itself can only operate within its rules, right, of what it knows. In this one, it's physical, but in smart contracts, it's all digital. So it only knows, the realm of which it can operate is the data inside the wallets, right? Or it could be API-based data, right? So as soon as certain thing triggers, then it triggers the next series of events. But where oracles come in, and I'm sorry if this is getting a little bit confusing, but where oracles come in is, now imagine, how could you place inside this, Rube Goldberg machine here, a way that the marble would not advance, or would advance one way or the other inside the machine based on real world events like the LeBron James basketball game. Okay. The only way you could do that, to provide real world data to, a virtual machine like this, is through oracles. And that's where Chainlink comes in. It is, like I said, Ethereum, you could picture Ethereum like the physical, building mechanics, one after another. Chainlink is like an oracle that can provide real world data to that smart contract to allow, things to trigger based on real world data, like weather. So insurance companies can use real world data through smart contracts to trigger events, or like a basketball game, or randomness. You can create a randomness part in the the Rube Goldberg machine to create a random factor. It's all based on creating new ways to create these fun machines, okay? And basically what DeFi is, Aave, is a smart contract and Oracle-based cryptocurrency, big Rube Goldberg machine. Now, basically what it happens here on, let's say Aave, for example, is I can deposit my money. Okay, so I can go into my dashboard, actually any market here, and I could deposit my Ethereum. Let's say I had $10,000 of Ethereum. Okay, I could deposit my Ethereum into this smart contract, and then what I can do is I can either earn, if that's what I want to do, a annual percentage of 4.67, or I'm sorry, wherever it is. Let's say USDC, because that's a bit more attractive for this example. I can earn 28%, or I'm sorry, 15% annually on my money, or I can borrow against my 10,000 USD, and I can borrow, let's say 5,000. If I didn't want to sell my, let's say Ethereum, for example, I didn't want to sell my Ethereum and take a tax hit, but I wanted to borrow $5,000 to buy a car or down payment for a house or whatever, I can do that. And that's all possible through this decentralized autonomous organization like Aave. Okay, so no one can control this. It just exists up inside the cloud, the metaverse. Okay, and it's just like a giant, a fun like attraction ride. Okay, that's what it is. And now we are just at the base layers and levels of people building these complex virtual machines. And Aave and DeFi is just the very first kind of like dynamics of that coming to life. And it's providing real use cases for people like you and I to eliminate the middleman, and we can eliminate the bank entirely because we have this, right? And it's complicated because if you don't already understand how blockchain works, no one can tamper with it. Once this virtual machine is put up into the cloud, no one can tamper with it. The rules are set, everything's there. No one can come and swap out the scissors for something else or kick over the boot before it falls. It's all set in motion and it can't be tampered with, okay? That's the beauty of blockchain. Now, the reason I'm so heavily invested in Ethereum is because, like I said, all this is possible and built on Ethereum. And the second holding I have Chainlink is the oracles is another building component to these attractions or virtual machines. Although Aave and DeFi is a very, very attractive use case and a very attractive, virtual machine that's going to be amazing for the next 10 years, it's nowhere near, as powerful as what the base layers are, okay? The base building blocks. I'm not just investing in, the next ride or attraction or whatever, the next big cool roller coaster that's happening right now. I'm investing in the building blocks that are going to be used to build something that we can't even fathom right now that's going to be possible through Ethereum, smart contracts, Chainlink, smart, oracles, and all of this. So that's why, yes, I believe in DeFi and I'm very heavily invested in that as well. But long-term, this is my strategy and a very simplified way of breaking this whole thing down. This is why I'm so heavily invested in Ethereum and oracles, smart contracts. I think it's really, really powerful. So I hope this kind of gave you a really good visual representation of what smart contracts are, and I hope you can kind of take this and build off of this and kind of imagine, wow, I didn't really understand and realize that this opens up opportunities for so many other things that we couldn't even fathom right now. And I hope that kind of gives you a visual representation of what DeFi is as well, and the power of what blockchain technology, all of this can come together and do for humanity. Now, I'll give you another example really quick. I know this video is getting long, but imagine right now selling your house, for example. There's so many people and intermediaries that come into play whenever you sell your house. You have title agencies, banks that give you the loans and all these things, okay? We can get rid of all that as, humanity together with the next version of these, smart Rube Goldberg machines. I can sell my house, list it for sale. One of the mechanics in this virtual machine would be, I want, this X amount for my house. A smart contract, an oracle would, in the future, it'd be really cool if an oracle already knew the value of my house somehow. We don't know how that's going to happen yet, but we're going to figure it out. And that's something to look forward to as well. And then, a buyer at some point, as soon as they deposit a certain amount into that bucket, and it equals out, then the whole thing goes through, it's done. And at the end of this Rube Goldberg machine, I have my money, they have their house, no intermediaries were necessary, right? And so the whole idea of this is to create a trustless machine and provide more truth into the world. And that is exactly what is going to happen. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen. At this point, the Pandora's box has been opened. It's going to happen. And I'm very excited to be involved in investing in the future of, a trustless world where we don't have to rely on people or governments, because, eventually humans have a horrible track record of being relied upon, and we can rely on simple, truth and blockchain and mechanics that will never lie or let us down. And we can build really, really awesome worlds and help humanity together through the power of blockchain and smart contracts. So if this kind of helped you understand a little bit more about smart contracts and oracles, hit that thumbs up button. And if you enjoyed this type of content, Make sure you subscribe. My name's Caleb, and I will continue to provide daily research into the world of cryptocurrencies and DeFi, smart contracts, and all that. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. If I can click the stop recording button now.